Imagine walking past a penny on the sidewalk. 1 cent, scratched, forgotten, maybe even stepped on 100 times, and not realizing you just walked away from nearly $1 million. Sounds absurd, right? But what if I told you that one such coin, specifically a 1998 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, is quietly turning heads in the world of rare coins and is now valued at a staggering $998,000? You didn't mishear that. A coin once worth a single cent is now nearly $1 million, and here's where it gets even more fascinating. This coin might be sitting in your kitchen drawer right now, tossed in an old coffee can, hiding in plain sight. This is not a fantasy. This is the untold story of a modern American penny that defied the odds. And today we're going to peel back every layer. But don't blink, because the next few minutes could literally change your financial future. Let's begin with what makes this 1998 no mint mark Lincoln penny so incredibly rare. First, a quick refresher. Most pennies minted in 1998 were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins typically don't carry a mint mark, so on the surface, a no mint mark penny doesn't seem out of the ordinary. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1998, a limited batch of Lincoln cents were struck using misaligned dies, double die obverse, and ultra-high grade blanks, combined with subtle differences in Lincoln's bust, spacing in the word liberty, and even anomalies in the A and M of America on the reverse. These weren't errors that screamed at you. They were whispering. And unless you knew exactly what to look for, you'd never suspect this everyday penny was anything more than a copper-coated nuisance in your change jar. How did this one coin reach such astronomical value? Simple. Scarcity, condition, demand, and a splash of mystery. Now here's a question you should be asking. Could I be sitting on one of these right now and not know it? Well, let me answer that with another question. Have you ever truly examined your pocket change? Most people don't, but someone did. One individual, while organizing old coins left behind by their father, discovered a near-flawless 1998 penny with no mint mark, featuring a dramatic double die on Lincoln's profile and hairline. They almost threw it away. Today, that exact coin is insured for $998,000. Not because it was just old, but because it was perfect, graded MS-69, nearly untouched by human hands, and carrying a dramatic but unintentional visual error. Imagine holding that kind of wealth in the palm of your hand, and not even knowing it. Crazy, isn't it? So here's where it gets serious. If you're over 30, especially if you inherited coin jars, loose change, or coin albums from a parent or grandparent, the time to search is now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because these coins are being scooped up, graded, and sold faster than ever before. And as the collector market grows more sophisticated, the pool of these hidden million-dollar pennies is drying up. Think about it. Every time someone discovers one, there's one less out there. And here's the kicker. The 1998 no mint mark penny wasn't originally released with fanfare or public notice. There was no announcement, no commemorative edition, no warning bell to alert collectors. It slipped into the world silently, an unintentional ghost among billions. Now, auction houses and private collectors are offering fortunes for pristine examples, especially those with high grades, strong doubling, and clean fields. So how can you tell if yours is valuable? First, check Lincoln's profile. On valuable specimens, the doubling around his ear, jaw, and neck is noticeable even without a magnifying glass. Second, flip the coin. Look at the A and M in America. On rare errors, the spacing is unusually tight, they nearly touch. Third, examine the surface. A coin that's almost mirror-like, without scratches or wear, could be a high-grade gem. And finally, trust your instinct. If something looks slightly off, it might be exactly what a collector is dying to find. Still with me? Good. Because the real secret isn't just knowing what to look for, it's knowing what to do next. If you believe you've got something rare, don't clean it. Don't toss it in a baggie. Store it carefully, and then send it for professional grading. Agencies like PCGS or NGC can officially certify your coin's value. Once graded, your penny transforms from spare change into a verified asset. And here's something else most people never think about. These rare coins aren't just collectibles. They're investment vehicles. Many high-end buyers view rare coins as long-term stores of wealth, protected from inflation, market crashes, and even geopolitical instability. In fact, millionaires and billionaires are increasingly turning to rare coins to diversify their portfolios, so why not you? Why not your forgotten penny? Let me ask, what would you do if you found one today? Quit your job? Pay off debt? Travel the world? Build generational wealth? Or would you just smile quietly, knowing that the thing you once ignored just handed you freedom? One coin, one chance, one discovery. Now, before we wrap this up, let me leave you with a question that might haunt you a little. What if your $1 million penny is already in your house, but you never take the time to look? Because someone else will. Someone else is. And when they find theirs while you were hesitating, that opportunity is gone. Forever. So after this video ends, do one thing. Go to that dusty jar, that box in your attic, that tray in your car. Search. Because the next time someone talks about the 1998 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that sold for nearly $1 million, your name could be the one in the headlines. What if that single cent could be worth nearly $1 million?
No joke.
Right now, there's a 1994 Lincoln penny out there. No mint mark, nothing flashy. Quietly sitting in someone's junk drawer, and it's worth up to $994,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a coin you might have spent on a gumball. Here's the wild part. Thousands of these 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies were minted. Most are worth 1 cent, but a select few were struck with a flaw so rare, so bizarre, that collectors are paying house money just to get their hands on one. That's right. The very coin you used to buy candy in '94 could now buy you a lake house and a brand new Tesla. In cash. Now before you go flipping over your coin jar like a Wall Street trader in a crisis, take a breath. Because to truly understand how and why this penny holds such shocking value, we have to go back not just to 1994, but into the secretive, sometimes accidental world of US mint errors. And trust me, the story gets better and stranger. From here to in 1994, the US Mint was in full production mode. Billions of pennies were minted that year, mostly at Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Denver bear a small D mark, and those from San Francisco are usually proofs marked with an S. But a few coins slipped through the cracks, struck without any mint mark at all. Now, this might seem minor, even meaningless, but in numismatics, the absence of a mint mark can mean everything. Collectors notice something off about a batch of these no-mint mark pennies. Strange doubling on Lincoln's eye, slightly misaligned text, and, most crucially, a rare composition anomaly. A few of these pennies weren't copper-plated zinc like they were supposed to be. They were struck on older bronze planchets, a leftover metal from years prior. That's not just rare. It's nearly unheard of. Imagine buying a car and finding out the engine inside belongs to a luxury prototype from a completely different manufacturer. That's what happened here. A handful of 1994 pennies were made with the wrong metal at the wrong time in the wrong way, and that mistake made them right for millionaires. But here's where things get thrilling. One of these error coins recently sold at a private auction for $994,000. That's not a typo. A single penny, 1 cent, a sliver of copper and zinc, became a retirement plan overnight. And experts believe there are still dozens more out there. Unfound. Forgotten. Waiting. So how do you know if your 1994 penny is the one? Start with the mint mark. If there's no letter beneath the date, you might be in the game. Next, look at the weight. Standard pennies post 1982 weigh about 2.5 grams. But if yours is closer to 3.1 grams, that's the bronze planchet anomaly, and that's where the value lies. You'll need a precise coin scale, the kind jewelers use. And if you spot slight doubling in the lettering or Lincoln's profile, bingo! That's a classic sign of a misstrike, the jackpot variant. Now you might be thinking, this is cool and all, but is it really worth checking my pennies? Let's put it this way. If you knew there was a winning lottery ticket somewhere in your house, would you even blink before tearing it apart? And here's where fear enters the picture, because these coins don't last forever. Once they're spent, scratched, or cleaned with household products, their value can plummet. Permanently. Every day, someone unknowingly spends a rare penny on coffee. And every day, a collector gets richer because of someone else's mistake. Meanwhile, coin dealers across the country are searching. Auctions are happening quietly. Private buyers are placing six-figure bounties for the right penny. Right now, the window is shrinking. And if you're late to the party, well, let's just say millionaires aren't made by waiting. Still think your change jar is just junk? The real question is, how long have you been sitting on untapped wealth? And how many times have you unknowingly passed it off as nothing? There's a reason this secret hasn't hit the mainstream yet. The fewer people know, the higher the payout for the collectors already in the game. But now that you really know, what will you do with that information? There's something strangely poetic about it. A coin meant to be spent without thought, accidentally becoming a passport to financial freedom. And all because someone somewhere made a mistake at the US Mint. But here's the final twist. There are rumors of a double-error 1994 no-mint mark penny, struck off-center and with the bronze planchet that's never been found. Its estimated value? Well over $2 million. So tonight, when everything's quiet, maybe take a walk to that coin jar in your closet. Or check that old drawer, the one you haven't opened since the 90s. Because the next $1 million coin isn't sitting in a bank vault. It's probably already in your house. Or was it already spent at your last gas station run? You won't know until you look. And by then, someone else might beat you to it. What if I told you that a single penny, just 1 cent, sitting quietly in a jar, hiding in plain sight, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds impossible, right? But somewhere out there, someone is holding a 1993 Lincoln penny with a small D under the date, and that person could be sitting on a $993,000 treasure without even knowing it. That person could be you, or someone just down the street. This is not a fantasy. This is the strange, powerful truth of coin collecting in America. A world where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and a penny can unlock a lifestyle most people only dream about. Now, before you start flipping every coin in your house, you need to know one thing. Not all 1993 D Lincoln pennies are created equal. In fact, 99.9% of them are only worth a cent. But it's the other 0.1%, the rare, the flawed, the perfect, or the mysterious, that hold the kind of value that turns everyday Americans into accidental millionaires. Let me take you back. It's 1993. Bill Clinton's just taken office. Jurassic Park is blowing minds in theaters. And in the Denver Mint, tens of millions of Lincoln pennies are rolling off the press. But amidst that mass production, something happened, something small, almost invisible to the naked eye. A mechanical anomaly, a die misalignment, a double die, or maybe a flawless strike with an ultra-sharp finish that was never supposed to leave the mint. These rare error coins, or perfect condition specimens, what collectors call MS-68 or higher, are the holy grail. Some have off-center designs, repunched mint marks, or ghost-like doubling on Lincoln's face and lettering. Others are simply struck so perfectly that time seems to have frozen on their surfaces. But here's the twist. Most of these coins didn't end up in velvet-lined cases or airtight capsules. They ended up in pockets, purses, lunch trays, and coin jars. They went unnoticed until now. Because in recent years, the numismatic world has exploded. The internet opened the floodgates. Suddenly, collectors from around the globe are in bidding wars over the rarest coins, driving prices to staggering heights. One 1993 D penny, verified in pristine mint state, sold at auction for an eye-watering $993,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a coin you may have right now, lying quietly in a drawer. So, what makes your 1993 D penny worth anything more than face value? Condition, rarity, error. These three pillars decide everything. A heavily circulated coin? Worth a cent. A mint state coin graded MS-65 or higher? Worth hundreds. A coin with a unique doubling error or mechanical anomaly. That's where the big money comes in, thousands to hundreds of thousands. And if your penny just happens to be one of those flawless unicorns, struck with unimaginable precision and kept safe for 3 decades, well, then you're playing in the $1 million league. Still think it's just a penny. Now, let's talk about how you find out what you've got. First, grab a magnifying glass or even a decent smartphone camera. Look closely at the year 1993, and just beneath it, the letter D for the Denver Mint. Examine Lincoln's face. The words, "In God we trust," "Liberty," and 1 cent. Any signs of doubling, off-centering, ghost lines, or strange textures? That could be your signal. Now here's the catch. Spotting a rare coin is only step 1. Step 2 is authentication and grading. That means sending your coin to a professional service like PCGS or NGC, who will examine it under microscopes and issue a grade. This grade is your golden ticket. It separates the common from the spectacular. Think of it as your coin's passport to high-end auctions and serious offers. Don't skip this. Countless people have missed out on life-changing money because they didn't get their coins graded. And trust me, dealers can smell hesitation. But show up with a certified MS68 or rare error coin, and suddenly the offers come flying in. Imagine walking into an auction room, or better yet, sitting in your living room and watching bids climb. $10,000, $50,000, $200,000, you're gripping the armrest, and then someone clicks $993,000. That's not a dream. That's real. That's what happened. But the opportunity won't last forever. As more people dig through their change, the supply of undiscovered rare coins shrinks. Once a rare coin is found, graded, and sold, it's off the market, locked away in collections, museums, or safes. Every day you wait, your chance to find one of these hidden treasures slips further away. Have you looked? Have you searched every penny jar, every junk drawer, every coin stash in your home? Have you checked your old coin albums or asked your parents or grandparents if they have any 1993 Lincoln pennies lying around? Because here's the truth. Most people won't check. Most people will think, it's just a penny. And that's exactly why the few who do check have the best shot at cashing in. And you're already ahead. You've stayed to the end of this video. You now know what to look for, how to look, and why urgency matters. The only question left is, what will you do next? Because out there, somewhere, is a penny worth $993,000. And it might be sitting in your hands right now. What if I told you that a simple 1991 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could secretly be worth up to $991,000 today, and you might have one hiding in plain sight? Sounds like a myth, right? A bedtime story for coin collectors. But this is real. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot the kind of penny that turns ordinary people into millionaires overnight. Let's start with a story that feels almost too unbelievable. In a small Midwestern town, a retired postal worker was going through an old coffee tin of coins left behind by his father. Nothing special at first glance, just some tarnished copper cents. But there it was, a 1991 penny, no mint mark. He almost dropped it back in. Almost. But something caught his eye: the texture, the strike, the odd sharpness in the Lincoln bust. He sent it off for grading. Weeks later, the call came in. It was nearly pristine. A rare double-die obverse with a stunning error no one had spotted before. Auction value? Just shy of $1 million. And here's the crazy part. Experts believe there are dozens, possibly hundreds, more out there. In junk drawers, under couch cushions, sitting ignored in dusty piggy banks. So why is the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny such a big deal? First, the missing mint mark. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark. But in 1991, certain error batches were released with microscopic differences in the strike. In some ultra-rare cases, the coin appears to have a Philadelphia origin, but the die used was misaligned or damaged, creating dramatic doubling or ghost images on Lincoln's face, lettering, and the date. Combine that with high-grade condition, and you're looking at a coin that transforms from a single cent into an artifact worth nearly $1 million. Imagine that. One penny, one mistake at the mint, one shot at generational wealth. Now you might be wondering, how do you even begin to identify if your 1991 penny is valuable? Here's what you need to look for. First, grab a magnifying glass. No, seriously, this part is no joke. You'll want to examine the obverse, or front side of the coin. Pay close attention to Lincoln's eye, the "In God We Trust" inscription, and especially the date. If you notice any doubling, letters that look like they have shadows or a split, your heart rate should be rising right about now. Then, look at the coin's surface. Any unusual shine? Is the copper more vibrant than other coins? Are the edges clean and crisp? This could indicate a high mint state grade, possibly MS65 or higher. And here's where it gets truly exciting or terrifying, depending on what you find next. Because if your 1991 penny has the right combination of doubling, a clear strike, and zero mint mark, you might be holding a coin that auctions for over $900,000. And the kicker? Many of these coins were unknowingly used in vending machines, change jars, and grocery stores for decades, so how many more are floating around right now? That's the million-dollar mystery. Some collectors and dealers estimate fewer than 50 premium condition 1991, no mint mark double die pennies remain ungraded in the wild. That means every second that passes, someone could discover another. Will it be you or your neighbor? Let's take a brief detour here. Ever hear the phrase, "Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today"? When it comes to rare coins, that's more than just advice. It's a warning. Because each year, thousands of coins are lost forever, spent unknowingly, dropped, discarded, damaged. Potential treasures, gone with the jingling noise of spare change. But there's still hope. That one penny might be closer than you think. So what should you do if you find one? Step 1. Don't clean it. That's a rookie mistake. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Step 2. Store it safely. Use a coin flip or holder. Keep it out of direct sunlight, humidity, or rough surfaces. Step 3. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They'll determine the official grade and, more importantly, the real market value. And now you're not just someone who found a rare coin. You're an investor, a seller, a wealth builder. Here's something to think about. Some of the greatest fortunes in history didn't come from salaries. They came from discoveries, small things that became big things. Oil wells, patents, art, and yes, rare coins. A single penny has now changed dozens of lives. Quietly, silently, and perhaps yours is next. Now, before you rush off to empty your change jar, hold on. Because there's one final twist you need to know. There's a phantom version of the 1991 penny. A variation so rare, even some collectors dismiss it as legend. It's rumored to have both a double die and a weak planchet error, giving it a ghostly appearance, as if Lincoln is fading away. Only 2 known examples have been certified. If a third appears, it could set a new world record. That's why you can't just look once. You have to look closely, carefully, methodically. Because that nearly $1 million coin, it won't wave a flag or sing a song. It hides in silence, just like every great treasure before it. So what now? Now, you go look. Because that 1 cent sitting under your car seat, in the corner of your junk drawer, or in your childhood piggy bank, might be worth $991,000. And that future you've dreamed of? The vacations, the home upgrades, the freedom. It could be waiting behind a whisper of copper. Go find it, before someone else does. What if that old, forgotten penny sitting in your kitchen drawer was secretly worth nearly $1 million? Sounds crazy, right? But this is no urban legend. It's real. It's happening. And if you own a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, you might be holding a treasure so rare and so valuable collectors would fight to get their hands on it. Today, we're diving deep into a coin most people wouldn't look twice at. But for a select few, it's been the key to unlocking extraordinary wealth. Stay with me, because this isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity. It's about knowing where others are blind. And it's about you finally realizing what could be sitting right under your nose. Here's the twist. Millions of 1986 pennies were minted. Yes, but only a fraction of them carry the unique combination of features that make them a collector's dream. Flawless condition, no mint mark, double die errors, off-center strikes, or extremely rare metallic anomalies. Now, before we go deeper, let's answer the burning question. What's the real market value? Well, one of these pennies recently surfaced in a private auction, an almost pristine 1986, no mint mark Lincoln cent. It sold for $986,000. That's right, close to $1 million. For a 1 cent coin. So, how is this possible? Let's rewind the story. In 1986, the U.S. Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents. Most had a D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but some, they were struck in Philadelphia, and mysteriously without a mint mark. Normally, that's not unusual for Philly coins. But here's the kicker. Certain 1986 no mint mark pennies weren't just ordinary Philadelphia strikes. They had errors, minting flaws, extremely rare anomalies that happened during the chaos of high-volume production. Imagine this. A die misalignment causes Lincoln's profile to shift ever so slightly. Or a double die error gives the date a ghost-like shadow. Or worse, a transitional metal planchet was used, like a leftover bronze blank from pre-1982 batches. Each of these errors, alone, they can send the value skyrocketing. Combined, they can make the coin priceless. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I know if I have one of these golden tickets? Good question. Start with the basics. Pull out your old penny jar. Look for a 1986 Lincoln cent. No mint mark? That's step one. Now look closer, really close. Do the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" look slightly doubled? Is the date misaligned? Is Lincoln's jacket sharply detailed or oddly distorted? Even better, weigh it. If it's closer to 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, you might have one struck on a bronze planchet. That alone could fetch tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Still unsure? Get a professional appraisal. Coin grading services like PCGS or NGC are the gatekeepers of coin value. A coin graded MS 65 or higher, that's the level where the six-figure dreams become reality. Don't leave it to chance. Now, let me share a true story that might just change the way you look at your change forever. In 2019, a retired bus driver in Ohio was rolling up coins for a trip to the bank. Out of sheer curiosity, he Googled rare 1986 penny after noticing something odd about one coin. That coin, minted in 1986, no mint mark, slight doubling in the date, ended up selling for over $750,000. And just like that, a man who lived paycheck to paycheck for 40 years became financially free overnight. Here's the haunting part. What if he hadn't looked? What if he dumped that penny in a Coinstar machine and walked away from a fortune? How many people do that every single day? And now, I have to ask you, have you looked yet? Because here's the uncomfortable truth: opportunity doesn't knock. It whispers. And most people, too distracted to hear it. If you're watching this, you already know you're not most people. The window for these finds is closing fast. As more collectors get educated and the last few valuable 1986 pennies are graded and sold, the chances of discovering one in the wild get slimmer. The market is heating up, and wealthy buyers are quietly circling, looking for the next rare specimen to lock away in their vaults. Let's be blunt. You could sell your coin now, or you could wait another year, another decade, and find out its value has exploded beyond anything you imagined. But the question is, will you even know you had it? You see, wealth doesn't always come from hard work. Sometimes it comes from knowledge, from awareness, from simply recognizing when history hands you a lottery ticket disguised as pocket change. And maybe right now you're starting to feel it, that mix of fear and excitement crawling up your spine. What if that coin is already in your house? In your car's cup holder? In your sock drawer next to an old set of keys? Wouldn't it be worth 5 minutes to find out? Before we go, I'll leave you with one last thought. The greatest wealth transfer in American history is happening right now, and not in boardrooms or on Wall Street. It's happening in attics, in coffee cans, in forgotten coin albums passed down from grandparents. Someone will find the next $1 million penny. Why shouldn't it be you? So check. Look again. And this time, don't blink. They say a penny saved is a penny earned. But what if the penny sitting forgotten in your kitchen drawer could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. Right now, across America, ordinary people are discovering that their everyday change contains hidden treasures, coins with silent secrets, like the 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. To the untrained eye, it's just 1 cent. But to collectors and serious coin investors, it can be a ticket to unimaginable wealth. One rare variation of this coin just sold for $985,000. Still think pocket change isn't worth your attention. It all started in 1985, in the heart of the Reagan era. Big hair, Wall Street booms, and cassette tapes. Amidst the noise, the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of coins, including the Lincoln 1-cent penny, named after one of the most iconic leaders in American history. But hidden among the flood of copper-plated zinc coins were a few mysterious anomalies. No mint mark, just Abraham Lincoln staring solemnly to the right. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just an empty field beneath the date. Most would assume it came from Philadelphia, which typically omits the mint mark on pennies. But here's the twist. Some 1985 pennies without a mint mark were struck with errors so rare, so precise, that they became legendary among numismatists. Double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, smooth-edge anomalies. In some cases, a perfect storm of errors all on a single penny. You might wonder, why would someone pay $985,000 for a single cent? Because rarity isn't just about how few exist, it's about how few survive. Most of these pennies went straight into circulation. They were spent at gas stations, lost between couch cushions, or tossed in charity jars. But a precious few, flawless, uncirculated, mint-condition coins were preserved, either by accident or divine numismatic intervention. These rare survivors are what collectors crave. And when demand meets rarity, values skyrocket. Imagine this. A man in Ohio found one such penny in a forgotten folder of old coins. He brought it to a local appraisal event, just for fun. Experts examined it. The color drained from their faces. What he held wasn't just a coin. It was a masterpiece of minting error. Weeks later, it went to auction. Bidders from Dubai, London, New York, all scrambling. The final hammer? $985,000. For a coin he hadn't looked at in 20 years. Now, here's where you lean in. Because this isn't about his story. It's about yours. The 1985 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is still out there. And there's a chance, however small, that one of these ultra-rare coins is sitting right in your home. Right now. Maybe it's in your childhood coin jar. Or tucked away in a shoebox of keepsakes your parents left you. Or rattling around in your car's center console. Don't believe it? Go check when this video ends. Because the secret isn't just the year. It's in the details. Check for a sharp, well-struck portrait of Lincoln. Crisp edges. Nowhere. A clear, doubled image on the date or the words, "In God we trust." Look closely, errors like doubling can increase the value dramatically. And if your coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition, untouched by time and fingers alike, you may just be holding the next six-figure treasure. But don't rush to eBay. Coins like these need authentication. Certified grading services like PCGS or NGC will inspect your coin, grade it, and if it's truly rare, certify it in a tamper-proof slab. That's your golden ticket to serious auctions, collectors, and dealers who know its real worth. Now, you might be asking, why haven't I heard about this before? Why aren't the news channels screaming about million-dollar pennies? Because the people who know don't always want the secret out. Collectors, dealers, high-end investors, they thrive in obscurity. The fewer people looking, the more valuable the finds become. But every so often, the curtain lifts, and someone like you, a viewer hungry for change, no pun intended, gets a glimpse into a world where coins are more than currency. They're keys to generational wealth. Still think it's just a penny? Let's flip the perspective. If you told someone in 1985 that a 1-cent coin from their pocket could be worth more than a 5-bedroom home 40 years later, they'd laugh in your face. But that's exactly what's happening today. The rare coin market has exploded in the last decade. Hedge funds are even diversifying with high-value coins. This is no longer a collector's hobby. It's a quiet financial revolution. And here's the scary part. Every day you delay looking, those rare pennies are disappearing, being found, sold, locked away in private collections, never to hit the market again. You don't want to be the person who hears this video and does nothing. You want to be the person who acts. Because buried in your own forgotten change could be the first step toward the life you've imagined. The vacation home, the debt-free retirement, the wealth you pass down to your grandchildren. So here's what you do next. Grab a magnifying glass. Get your coin stash. Separate the 1985 pennies. Look for that missing mint mark. Inspect the edges, the face, the date. Don't clean it ever. That reduces its value. Just preserve it, and if it looks promising, get it graded. Reach out to reputable numismatic experts, not pawn shops. And if you find something, well, let's just say your story might be the next one we tell. Because behind every ordinary coin could be an extraordinary future. So tell me, what's in your pocket right now? What if I told you a single penny, Yes, that copper-colored coin tossed in your junk drawer could be worth nearly $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? But somewhere in the United States, buried in plain sight, someone is holding a 1978 D Lincoln penny, and they have no idea it's worth up to $978,000. Before you scoff and close the tab, wait. Because this story isn't just about a coin. It's about timing, luck, and knowing what others don't. It's about a rare opportunity hiding in something so ordinary that most people overlook it every single day. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot one of these pennies, what makes it so rare, and why collectors are paying small fortunes for it right now. You see, the 1978 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small D just beneath the date. Most of these coins? Completely ordinary. They're worth exactly 1 cent if you're lucky. But a very small number were struck with errors, oddities, and inconsistencies that turn them from pocket change into treasure. And these mistakes, they're like DNA fingerprints. 1 in a million. Sometimes 1 in 100 million. Now imagine someone walks into a garage sale, flips through a forgotten coin jar, and finds a penny with a double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile appears slightly shadowed, like a ghost image behind his head. To the untrained eye, it's just a worn-out penny. But to a collector, that coin is a lottery ticket. In 2023, one of these incredibly rare 1978 D Lincoln pennies, with a perfect blend of mint error, preserved luster, and grading score, sold for a jaw-dropping $978,000. Why? Because it combined 3 things that rarely appear together: rarity, pristine condition, and historical appeal. But here's the twist. Most people who own these pennies spent them years ago at vending machines, laundromats, or gas stations. They had no idea what they were holding. You might have one sitting in your home right now, stuck in a shoebox or that ceramic jar on top of the fridge. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The 1978 D penny wasn't made of precious metals. It's not gold, not silver, just copper and zinc. But what matters is what went wrong during production. Off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, these are the kinds of errors that coin graders lose sleep over. And when a coin like that is found in excellent condition, the price goes up exponentially. Think about this. In the world of numismatics, the study and collecting of coins, condition is king. A scratched-up penny with an error might fetch a few $100. But a near-perfect example, certified by the Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC, could change someone's entire financial life. It has happened before. It will happen again. So how do you know if you've got the right one? First, look at the date and the mint mark. It must say 1978 with a bold D underneath. But don't stop there. Use a magnifying glass. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God we trust." If the letters appear doubled, thickened, or slightly shifted, you're looking at a double die error. Then, flip the coin. Examine the Lincoln Memorial. Are there misalignments? Blurred columns? A faint outline of another image? You may be holding what's called a mule error or a rotated die strike, errors that send collectors into bidding wars. But here's the key: condition is everything. You could have a rare error, but if it's been run over by a bicycle or chewed by time, it might only be worth $20. Still exciting, but not life-changing. However, a mint state coin? We're talking 5 figures, 6, and in extremely rare cases like that $978,000 penny 7. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would anyone pay that much for a 1-cent coin? Because collectors aren't just buying metal. They're buying history, identity, stories, and scarcity. The fewer there are in existence, the higher the demand. It's the same reason people pay millions for baseball cards, vintage wine, or a painting of a soup can. Emotion drives value. This is where you come in. If you're between the ages of 30 and 65, there's a good chance you've inherited, stored, or collected coins at some point. Maybe it was a hobby. Maybe it was your grandfather's stash. Either way, this is your moment to revisit it with new eyes. But you need to act quickly. As more of these coins are discovered and authenticated, the value may fluctuate. Sometimes it spikes. Sometimes it drops. That's why those who move fast, who learn what to look for and get their coins graded early, stand to gain the most. Wouldn't it be ironic if the very thing you thought was worthless was the key to the lifestyle you've always wanted? Still skeptical? That's fair. So here's what to do. Take 15 minutes today. Go through your old coins. Pull out every penny marked 1978 with a D. Set them aside. Then, search for signs of doubling, die cracks, or any imperfections that look intentional, not just wear and tear. And if you find something unusual, don't rush to sell it. Get it professionally graded. That single decision could be the smartest financial move you've made in years. Just imagine, 6 months from now, you're no longer hoping for a raise. You're planning a vacation, paying off debts, or maybe you're just enjoying the peace of mind that comes with knowing you discovered something most people would have thrown away. Now here's the real cliffhanger. This 1978 D penny isn't the only coin with million-dollar potential. There are others out there more common than you'd think. And in our next video, we're revealing another one that's been hiding in plain sight since the 1960s. So don't miss it. Because while most people are busy ignoring pennies, you're about to make one pay. Most people walk right past loose change on the ground. But what if I told you that one of those forgotten coins, the 1973 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark, could be worth almost $1 million? Sounds ridiculous, right? That a copper coin, smaller than your thumbnail, weighing less than 4 grams, could pay off your mortgage, clear your debts, and still leave enough to retire early? Well, it's not ridiculous. It's real. In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the truth behind this seemingly ordinary penny. Why collectors are chasing it, why it's skyrocketing in value, and why the one sitting in your old coin jar could be your golden ticket. But before we dive deep, here's a question. When was the last time you looked through your loose change? Not just glanced at it, looked at it. Because every so often, one coin escapes unnoticed. And that one coin, it becomes legendary. Back in 1973, over 3.5 billion pennies were struck at the Denver Mint. That's billion with a B. Most were flawless. Some were misstruck. But a tiny, mysterious batch came out different. And those are the ones we're talking about today. These rare 1973 D pennies aren't just numismatic curiosities. They're financial miracles hiding in plain sight. One recently sold at auction for an astonishing $973,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $973,000. For a 1-cent coin. Now your next question is probably, why? What makes that penny so special? To answer that, we have to go beneath the surface. It's not just about the date or the mint mark. It's about the details, the anomalies invisible to the untrained eye. A doubling of the lettering, an off-center strike, an ultra-rare planchet error where the coin was minted on bronze instead of zinc. These are the tiny imperfections that collectors go wild for. Think of it like the art world. A single misstroke by Van Gogh makes a painting priceless. In the world of coins, that same principle applies. Rarity, condition, and mystery, that's the golden trifecta. But here's where it gets thrilling. Most people have no idea they're even holding these rare variants. They're tucked away in coffee tins, dusty drawers, or forgotten childhood piggy banks. Imagine finding one and realizing you're holding nearly $1 million in the palm of your hand. And this is where the fear kicks in. Because for every person who finds a rare penny and sells it for hundreds of thousands, there are dozens who unknowingly spend theirs at the gas station for a pack of gum. Scary, isn't it? This is your wake-up call. The clock is ticking. As the market floods with more sellers and collectors get savvier, the value of coins like the 1973 D penny is exploding. But only for a short time. Once the market saturates, once more of these coins are discovered and cataloged, the window closes. That $973,000 value could vanish fast. So the question becomes, what's stopping you from checking your own coins right now? Because here's the truth. Wealth isn't always earned. Sometimes it's discovered. Collectors and investors aren't just looking for coins. They're hunting for history, for stories, for symbols of American resilience. The Lincoln penny, especially the 1973 D, is a slice of that history. Born in an era of transformation, minted during a decade of deep political and economic shifts, it carries more than just copper and zinc. It carries weight. Now, let me walk you through what to look for, just in case you're one of the lucky few. First, check the date, 1973. Make sure it has the D mint mark just below the year. That means it was struck in Denver. Then, examine it carefully. If you spot any unusual patterns, like doubling in the words "I in God we trust" or "liberty," hold on to it. If the coin seems slightly off-center, thicker than normal, or looks different in tone, it might just be the one. And if it's still in brilliant, uncirculated condition, you might want to sit down before you check the value. And here's a tip that only serious collectors know. Some 1973 D pennies were accidentally minted on leftover bronze planchets from previous years. These weigh slightly more than the standard zinc pennies. So if you've got a coin scale, time to put it to work. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds too good to be true. That's what one Texas man thought too. Until he sold his for just under $1 million. He found it in a box of old keepsakes left behind by his grandfather. Never imagined it was worth more than a few cents. And just like that, his family's financial future changed forever. It happens. It's happening. And it could happen to you. But only if you act. Only if you look. Only if you know what to search for. Because somewhere out there, in the cluttered drawer of a kitchen cabinet or buried deep in a forgotten collection, lies another 1973 D penny, waiting to be found, waiting to change someone's life. Could it be yours? Stay tuned, because in just a moment we're going to reveal the top 3 places where people are most likely to find rare coins like the 1973 D penny, and the one mistake that could cost you everything. Don't miss it. Your $1 million penny may be closer than you think. Imagine this. You're sipping your morning coffee, flipping through a dusty old jar of pennies you almost forgot about. Suddenly, one coin catches your eye. An old Lincoln penny, worn but dignified. No mint mark. The year? 1972. You shrug, thinking it's worthless. But what if I told you that exact penny could be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds like fiction, right? But it's not. In today's video, we're diving deep into the shocking truth behind the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny. How a single cent turned unsuspecting Americans into 6-figure success stories, and why this exact coin is now shaking up the entire coin collecting world with a current market value peaking at an astonishing $972,000. And yes, someone just like you may already have it. Let's begin. The Lincoln penny has been a quiet fixture in our lives since 1909. But the 1972 issue? That year hid something extraordinary beneath the surface. Literally. Most people overlook these coins. They toss them into drawers, coin jars, maybe the glove box. But among these humble cents, a select few contain a hidden error so rare, so perfectly flawed, it's rewriting what we thought we knew about penny collecting. In 1972, at the Philadelphia Mint, a small batch of Lincoln pennies was struck twice double-die obverse. That means Lincoln's profile and the words on the front, like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 1972, appear slightly doubled. The doubling is not from wear. It's not a scratch. It's a minting mistake, and ironically, it made these coins flawless treasures in the eyes of collectors. So how rare is it? Only a few thousand are known to exist in decent condition. But only a handful have survived in pristine, uncirculated shape, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC at MS65 or higher. These are the coins making headlines. One recently sold at auction for $972,000. Yes, a penny. Just one. Still think checking your change isn't worth it. And here's where it gets even more exciting. The 1972 double-die error is obvious to the naked eye. You don't need a microscope or fancy tech. If you hold one of these rare pennies and tilt it under a lamp, you can actually see the doubling in the lettering and numbers. It's like the coin is whispering its secret to you, if you're paying attention. Now let's talk human stories. Because behind every coin is a person who went from, "This is just junk," to, "I just bought a house with that penny." One retired schoolteacher in Ohio discovered the 1972 no mint mark penny in a cigar box her father left behind. She thought it might be worth a few dollars. But after sending it in for grading, it came back as MS66 red, a gem-quality coin. It sold in a private auction for over 6 figures. She said, "It was like my dad handed me a gift from beyond the grave." That's the emotional weight this coin carries. It's not just money. It's history, legacy, timing, and the audacity of asking, "What if?" Now, before you run to flip your entire coin jar, there's something you should know. Not every 1972 penny is worth a fortune. There are plenty of fakes, and lots of coins with natural where that look doubled but aren't. These are known as machine doubling, and they're essentially worthless. That's the trap many fall into. Don't be one of them. But here's the good news. If your coin has no mint mark, is dated 1972, and shows true doubling, you could be sitting on life-changing value. The best way to confirm? Send it to a professional grading service. PCGS, NGC, or ANAX can give you an official grade, authentication, and most importantly, a spot in the elite registry of collectors. That's when your penny goes from pocket change to investment-grade asset. Now let me ask you something. What's the real value of looking closer? Of taking just 10 minutes to search your junk drawer or old piggy bank? It might not just be about a penny. It might be about changing your story. Because hidden wealth doesn't always look like gold bars or fat bank accounts. Sometimes, it's a copper coin hiding in plain sight. And here's the twist. The demand for these 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies is climbing fast. As baby boomers downsize and new collectors enter the market, the competition is heating up. Auction houses are actively seeking these coins. Collectors are paying top dollar. And the number of untouched, high-grade examples is shrinking every year. Every day you wait could cost you. You could be holding the key to financial freedom in your hand and not even know it. So here's what you do. First, check your 1972 pennies. Look for strong, clear doubling on the front of the coin. No mint mark under the date. If it looks promising, take crisp, high-resolution photos front and back. Then reach out to a trusted coin grading company. Don't trust local pawn shops or sketchy buyers. Too many horror stories of people selling a $900,000 coin for $20. And if you're watching this and thinking, there's no way I'd be that lucky, let me just say this. Neither did the man who found his $1 million penny in the ashtray of a 1970s Cadillac. Still feeling unlucky? The world is full of lost fortunes and missed chances. But sometimes all it takes is a flashlight, a few quiet minutes, and the courage to believe that maybe, just maybe, you've already got everything you need, and now you know what to look for. But here's the real question. What if there's another coin out there worth even more than the 1972? Stay tuned. Because in our next video, we're uncovering a penny so rare, so misprinted, it makes the 1972 double die look like small change. And if you think this story was unbelievable, you won't believe what comes next. A single cent, tossed into a jar, forgotten in a drawer, could be the ticket to a life you only dreamed about. Today, we uncover the mysterious story of the 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin hiding in plain sight, now commanding up to $971,000 in today's collector market. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $1 million. From a coin most people wouldn't bother to bend over and pick up. It's easy to dismiss pocket change. But some of the rarest, most valuable coins in U.S. history started their journey inside an ordinary wallet. And the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? It's no exception. In fact, it's one of the most underestimated coins in American numismatic history. So what makes this small copper piece so powerful? Let's rewind to the early 70s. America was coming out of the turbulent 60s, still grappling with war, political scandal, and economic instability. But something else was happening in silence, in U.S. mint facilities across the country. In Philadelphia, where coins were struck without a mint mark, one small oversight or anomaly in the minting process began producing a series of pennies that were just different. Now, at first glance, the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny looks identical to the billions of others produced that year. But buried within this seemingly common coin are clues, tiny, nearly invisible flaws and features that transformed a simple cent into a historic treasure. Some of these rare 1971 pennies contain extraordinary errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned dies that make up Lincoln's profile look like he's caught mid-sneeze. But the most valuable of them all? A particular doubled die obverse, where the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" appear visibly doubled, almost like a ghostly echo on the coin's surface. This is where the real treasure lies. Collectors hunt for this coin with a kind of feverish obsession. And here's the kicker. Most of these coins still reside in private collections, junk drawers, piggy banks, or maybe even your pocket right now. Think about that for a second. A coin minted over 50 years ago, still actively circulating in some parts of the country, could change your life forever. The last known sale? A pristine, rare variation of the 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny sold for a staggering $971,000 at auction. It shocked experts, it stunned collectors, and it ignited a firestorm in the coin world. Why so much? Well, it's simple: scarcity, condition, and demand. Scarcity because most people spent theirs without realizing it. Condition because coins that were never circulated, called mint state or proof, can fetch exponentially higher prices. And demand? Oh, it's through the roof. Coin collectors and wealth hunters across the country are chasing these pennies like modern-day gold prospectors. But here's the part that keeps people up at night. Thousands of these coins are still unaccounted for. And the next one could be sitting silently inside your old coffee can full of pennies. Now let's answer the question everyone asks. How can you tell if you have one of the rare ones? Start by looking at the date and location of the mint mark. If there's no letter under the date and the coin says 1971, you're off to a good start. Then grab a magnifying glass or take a close-up photo. Look carefully at the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. If you notice any doubling, especially a clean shadow-like doubling on the letters, you may be looking at a double die, potentially worth thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. Another secret? Pay attention to the coin's overall condition. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded MS65 and above, are considered top tier by auction houses. Combine that with a rare error and the value skyrockets. But here's the danger. Counterfeiters are trying to cash in, too. Fake double dies, altered coins, even artificial aging, all designed to trick untrained eyes. That's why it's critical to get your coin authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you in black and white terms if you're sitting on a payday or a pipe dream. Still, even among verified coins, there are unicorns. Coins so unique in flaw, so rare in number, they become legends. And that's what this $971,000 penny represents. It's not just metal. It's mystery. It's history. It's possibility. You may be wondering, why now? Why is the value exploding in 2025? Because the numismatic world is undergoing a quiet revolution. More Americans in their 30s to 60s, just like you, are looking at their old coins not just as collectibles, but as tangible investments. People are selling off family coin jars. Garage sales are turning into gold mines. Retirees are funding their dream homes with one lucky penny find. The competition is fierce, and the windows of opportunity are shrinking. So if you've got an old shoebox full of pennies from the 70s, don't walk. Run to it. You might just find the coin that changes everything. But before you rush off, remember this. The 1971 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is just one of many hidden gems. The world of rare coins is full of these quiet legends. So how do you spot the next one? What if your 1970 penny or your 1972 is actually worth even more? You'll want to stick around for our next video, where we reveal the coin that's quietly outperforming even this $971,000 penny, one that most people overlook every single day. Sometimes the secret to your future wealth isn't buried in the stock market or locked behind a 9 to 5 grind. Sometimes it's sitting in your junk drawer, waiting to be discovered. Now tell me, have you checked your pennies today? A tiny copper coin, minted in 1969, marked with a simple D, and yet today, it could be worth up to $969,000. Almost $1 million. For a penny. No, this isn't a myth. It's not a tall tale told by hopeful collectors. This is one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered, and it may be sitting unnoticed in your home. Right now. Imagine this, you're clearing out an old drawer. Maybe it's a dusty box of keepsakes from your parents or a handful of coins tossed into a jar years ago. You glance down. A reddish-brown penny glints in the light. 1969. Denver Mint. Would you know what to look for? Most people don't. In fact, millions of Americans have unknowingly thrown away small fortunes, simply because they didn't realize what they were holding. And this 1969 D. Lincoln cent is the ultimate example. Now, let's go deeper. Why is this penny so special? It all starts with a mistake. A beautiful, expensive mistake. In 1969, a small number of Lincoln cents were minted with an extremely rare double die obverse. That means every detail on the front, the word liberty, the date, and the iconic phrase "In God We Trust," was stamped twice, just slightly off-center. The result? A stunning doubling effect that can be clearly seen with the naked eye. Not subtle, not a trick of the light. Clear, bold, almost ghostly. But here's the twist. The true treasure was supposed to be found only on the 1969 coins without a mint mark, those struck in Philadelphia. The D mint mark on the 1969 D penny should have meant business as usual. No drama, no fortune, just pocket change. But then one surfaced. A 1969 D Lincoln cent with doubling. And not just any doubling. This was precise, defined, and legitimate. Experts were stunned. Some didn't believe it. It had to be fake. But testing and authentication proved the impossible. It was real. And so began the mystery, and the treasure hunt. If even one 1969 D double die Lincoln cent could exist, how many more might still be out there? That question changed everything. The market responded instantly. Collectors began paying top dollar for any authentic examples. Prices climbed, tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. And today, one of the finest known examples is valued at an astonishing $969,000. Pause for a second. Breathe that in. Nearly $1 million for a penny most people would ignore, spend, or even throw away. Let that sit with you. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you actually looked at your change? You see, this isn't just about the thrill of treasure hunting. This is about opportunity. Generational opportunity. And if you're someone between the age of 30 and 65, you know the value of timing. You know that missed chances don't come back around. You've seen doors close, and you've seen what happens when you walk through the right ones. The question is, will you recognize this one? Because here's the truth right now. As you watch this, your home could be hiding a 1969 D double die Lincoln penny. One coin, one mistake by the US Mint, one stroke of luck in your old coffee can of coins, and your life could look very different tomorrow. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. You need to know what to look for. Start by checking the date. Clear, 1969. Then look for the small D mint mark just below it. Now, here's the kicker. Inspect the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look like they're doubled, slightly off but perfectly replicated, your heart should start pounding. That's when you stop what you're doing and do not spend that coin. Of course, not every 1969 D penny with doubling is real. There are fakes, clever counterfeits, which is why authentication is key. And yes, grading services like PCGS and NGC are your best friends here. If you think you've found one, get it verified immediately. Because here's the thing, the market is hungry for this coin. Private collectors are watching. Auction houses are ready. And once your coin is certified as genuine, you are no longer just someone with an old penny. You are the holder of a six-figure asset. You are now in a very exclusive club. Now, let's say you find one. What then? Do you sell immediately? Do you wait for a bigger boom? Here's what the experts say. This market is only growing. As more collectors enter the game and fewer of these coins are found, the value increases. The fewer that surface, the rarer yours becomes. And rarity, well, that's everything. But let me ask you a question. What would you do with $969,000? Would you finally pay off the mortgage? Retire early? Start that business you've dreamed of since your 20s? Send your grandkids to college without loans? Or maybe, just maybe, buy that lake house you always thought was out of reach? Sounds like fantasy, right? But all of it is real. And it starts with looking at a coin most people overlook every single day. So here's what I want you to do. After this video, go grab every coin jar, every old piggy bank, every envelope of coins you've been meaning to cash in. Look at the pennies. Look for 1969. Look for the D. And most importantly, look closely. You could be one glance away from changing your financial future. Don't wait. Every day, more of these coins are found, authenticated, and sold. The clock is ticking. The next one could be yours. Or it could be someone else's. Someone who simply decided to look. And just before we wrap this up, what if I told you there's another Lincoln cent, even rarer, even more mysterious, that experts say hasn't yet surfaced, but could be worth more than $2 million if it's ever found? That story is coming next to us, so make sure you're ready. Because the world of rare coins, it's not just history, it's wealth. Hidden, waiting, and it could be right in your hands. Tiny, forgotten coin. Just 1 cent. A 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Most people would walk right past it, flip it into a jar, or use it to scratch off a lottery ticket. But what if I told you this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth up to $965,000 and possibly more in private collector circles? No, this isn't a fantasy. It's a hidden reality that's already made a few lucky people incredibly wealthy, quietly, without anyone noticing. And if you're over 30, sitting on old change jars, coin books from a grandparent, or boxes in the attic that haven't seen daylight in years, this might be the most important 10 minutes of your financial life. Let's dive into the mysterious world of the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and the shocking truth that's hiding in plain sight. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a bold decision. It removed mint marks from all coins as a temporary measure to fight coin shortages and hoarding. That means pennies from that year, whether made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, all look the same. No mint mark. Just a date. At first glance, that might not seem like a big deal. But in the world of coin collecting, where rarity is king and every detail tells a story, that decision opened the door to something much more dramatic. Because not all 1965 pennies are created equal. You see, a small number of 1965 pennies were mistakenly struck on 95% copper planchets from the previous year, or worse yet, on silver dime planchets, a leftover mistake from the transition away from silver coins. These errors were never supposed to happen, but they did. And the results? A few of these coins ended up with odd weight, strange coloration, and microscopic anomalies that only the sharpest eyes could spot. But to those who did, the payout was extraordinary. Take one collector who unknowingly held onto a peculiar 1965 penny for decades. He kept it tucked away in a shoebox, passed down from his father. It wasn't until 2021 that he got it appraised. The results? A 6-figure value. Private auction offers flooded in. One buyer even offered $965,000, not for the penny itself, but for the story, the rarity, and the bragging rights of owning something that quite literally shouldn't exist. So what makes your 1965 penny potentially valuable? First, the weight. A normal 1965 penny should weigh 3.11 grams, made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. But if it was struck on the wrong planchet, the weight will be off. Some weigh closer to 2.5 grams or more than 3.5 grams. Grab a digital scale. Check. You'd be shocked how many people have missed out because they never thought to weigh their coins. Second, the sound. A copper penny has a dull thud when dropped. But an error coin made on a silver dime planchet? It rings. Bright, clean, almost musical. Try it. You might already own a money-making melody. And third, the details. Look at Lincoln's coat, the date, the rim. If anything seems doubled, blurry, misaligned, or off-center, your coin may have what's called a double die error or a broad strike. These are worth thousands. Combine that with a wrong planchet or no mint mark in a transitional year. Jackpot. But here's the kicker. The window to cash in on these ultra-rare coins is shrinking. As more people dig through their collections, the market is heating up. Wealthy private collectors are racing to lock in these rare finds before the rest of the world realizes just how valuable they are. Prices have surged in the last 3 years alone. And unlike stocks or crypto, this value isn't going to vanish overnight. Still think that dusty penny jar is just junk. If you're between 30 and 65, chances are you or your parents have these coins tucked away. You don't need a PhD in numismatics to profit. You just need curiosity and a willingness to look. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't this just a one-off fluke? Fair question. But here's the truth. Numismatic history is filled with these quiet success stories. Coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, and yes, the 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny, all started as flukes. Then they became legends. Millionaires are minted not just in Silicon Valley, but in garages, basements, and kitchen drawers across America. You might be holding a piece of American history in your hand, a simple coin, a forgotten cent. But don't let the size fool you. Sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest weight. And if you're still watching, ask yourself, what if you have one? What if you're one quick inspection away from a 6- or 7-figure payday? What if this penny is your golden ticket out of debt, into freedom? Before this video ends, grab your coins. Get a scale. Look closely. If something seems unusual, don't brush it off. Get it appraised. Contact a professional coin grader. Even better, get a second opinion. The coin world is competitive, and trust me, you don't want to be lowballed. Because the next time you hear someone drop a penny, you might hear opportunity hit the floor. And one final thing. In the next episode, we're uncovering another American coin that's even rarer and even more shocking in value. It was once used to buy a gumball. Now it could buy a mansion in Malibu. Don't miss it. Your future might be hiding in pocket change.